ECOWAS establishment of Nasiwa in 2010 was a visionary step towards creating a united front against the scourge of corruption in our region.
Unite against corruption and address it decisively. President Tinubu charges African leaders as 6th Annual General Assembly of Network of National Anti-Corruption Institutions opens in Abuja.
We developed and implemented a robust and innovative organizational structure which aligns our capacities and resources to the sectors of the economy that are most vulnerable to abuse by money launderers and terrorist financiers.
Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit restates renewed vigor to tackle money laundering and terrorism financing.
No one should be left behind.
World Humanitarian Day. Partners advocate survival, well-being and dignity of people affected by crisis and safety of aid workers. Hello and thank you for joining us on the Network News on NTA tonight. I'm Naja'atu Tijani, but I'm not alone. Hingino John Adams joins us from Lagos later in the bulletin. And in our Abuja studios with business news is Musa Abubakar. Musa, who are the top gainers this week?
Well, not much, but the equities market started the week on a losing note.
Oh dear, well. We'll get the details, I suppose, later in the bulletin. And as usual, live sports action anchored by Ayo DG Makinde with updates on the National Youth Games. Ayo, when and where will the games hold?
The city of Asaba, September 9, and it will be beautiful to see what the under-15 boys and girls across the country are capable of doing.
Thank you, Ayodeji. We'll be looking forward to the details in the bulletin. Remember that this broadcast is also being streamed live on our website, nta.ng/live. You can watch the replay on our YouTube channel, NTA News, and also follow us across social media for all the latest. And now the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu this Monday departed Abuja for Paris using the new Airbus A330, which replaced the 19-year-old Boeing 737-700 BBJ bought under the presidency of Olusegun Obasanjo. A statement by the Presidential Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, indicates that the new plane, bought far below the market price, saved Nigeria huge maintenance and fuel costs running into millions of dollars annually. The presidential advisor says the recommendation to replace the Boeing 737-700 BBJ followed an investigative hearing by Nigeria's parliament, which questioned the plane's safety record and cost efficiency, especially after it malfunctioned during a trip to Saudi Arabia. The Nigerian Senate Security and Intelligence Committee recommended replacing the aging aircraft in the presidential fleet to reduce downtime and operational expenses. Meanwhile, member countries have been urged to ratify and fully implement the ECOWAS protocol against corruption. Nigerian President Bola Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, made the call to end the menace while opening the 6th Annual General Assembly of the Network of National Anti-Corruption Institutions in West Africa, NASIWA, held at the ECOWAS Secretariat in Abuja. Nigeria also announced donation of an office building for the permanent headquarters in the country. State House correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
The future of our region depends on our ability to create transparent, accountable, and efficient governance structures that serve the interests of our people.
Implementing the ECOWAS protocol on the fight against corruption towards strengthening institutions for regional integration is the reason that brought stakeholders together in the ECOWAS sub-region.
The theme of our assembly also highlights the importance of regional unity, and that is why I would want to join my colleague, the chair of the EFCC, in regretting the absence of our brothers and sisters from Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. And we want to assure them that ECOWAS will always have seats at the table for them, because together we are stronger.
The implementation of the ECOWAS protocol against corruption is not a mere technical exercise. It is a moral imperative that demands utmost dedication and innovative thinking. Our presence here today underscores the importance of collaborative and coordinated efforts in fostering transparency, accountability, and good governance across West Africa sub-region.
Use of technology and digital tools will assist anti-corruption operatives in the onerous task of taming this monster and dismantling the corruption networks.
Nigeria, chairing the ECOWAS seat, has restated commitment towards ensuring the fight against corruption through various initiatives, especially the African Continental Free Trade Area Framework.
ECOWAS establishment of NSIWA in 2010 was a visionary step towards creating a united front against the scourge of corruption in our region. It provides a platform for law enforcement collaboration in tackling the common challenge of corruption, which poses serious economic, security, and developmental challenges to the entire West African sub-region.
Let me affirm the commitment of the 10th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to this cause. We remain resolute in our determination to support all efforts aimed at eliminating corruption and financial crimes, thereby paving a way for a brighter and more prosperous future for our people.
15 member countries of the Network of National Anti-Corruption Institutions also here to promote interagency cooperation, develop and harmonize the legal, regulatory and administrative provisions, as well improve on standards governing professional practice within the network. In Abuja, Abraham Jibrila, NTA News.
The National Assembly is strengthening the capacity of the legislature to effectively respond to emerging issues in legislative practice and the polity. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the management of the Assembly says it is determined to provide support staff with necessary digital skills to go with the times.
With increasing expectations from the public on the legislative arm of government due to its vital role in attaining good governance, this capacity-building workshop for staff of the National Assembly aims to empower the workforce to be innovative towards attaining set targets. The clerk to the National Assembly says the reorientation program would instill a sense of patriotism and integrity in line with ongoing reform of the civil service.
I have no doubt that the time and effort invested in this program will yield a positive result.
As public servants, your roles are pivotal in shaping the legislative process and ensuring the policies and decisions made are in the best interest of the National Assembly and Nigeria at large.
This batch of trainees, numbering over 300, covers staff of levels 10 to 14.
In these times of change and challenges, it is more important than ever before that we redouble our efforts to deliver the highest standard of service and support to the members of the National Assembly.
Areas of focus at the workshop include legislative administration, report writing, financial regulation, code of conduct, and adapting to a technology-enabled work environment. Lami Ali, NTA News.
Vandalism of power infrastructure. It's on the rise in the country, and the federal government and National Assembly are adopting measures to guard power facilities while applying stringent penalties against vandals. This was made known at an engagement between the House of Representatives Committee on Power, the Minister of Power and Transmission Company of Nigeria. Joshua Ojito has the details.
The continuous vandalism of power infrastructure from north to south is of concern to lawmakers and stakeholders in the Nigerian electricity supply industry, and the House Committee on Power is engaging relevant players on way forward, insisting vandals must be punished.
More stringent penalties in the amendment to Electricity Act for three things: bill default, power theft, and power asset vandalization.
No doubt the good work that has been done in the electricity, but we're also looking at some amendments where we have to bring very stiff punishment for vandals.
But we also want to have a partnership with the state government so that they can put their own vigilante or whatever way they can do to assist us. When you bring one tower down, it costs us around 200, 300 or 400 million.
Other issues that dominated conversation are the need to sustain current momentum of power supply, how to address liquidity crisis in the sector, and electricity tariff, where lawmakers submit that going forward, all players, including customers, should be carried along before any tariff review is implemented. The Power Minister highlights gains of the sector in the last 1 year, which are responsible for improved supply, while calling for legislative support and increased budgetary provision for execution of power projects. The engagement between the lawmakers, policymakers, and industry players is expected to be sustained for the overall development of the sector. Joshua Ojitu, NTA News.
Still on the energy sector, the Executive Vice President Downstream, NNPC Limited, Adedapo Shegun, has assured motorists that the company is proactively tackling supply challenges. At a media conference in Abuja, Mr. Shegun briefed journalists that the company is vigorously working to fast-track evacuation of products.
First, I'd like to apologize to Nigerians for the queues we see springing up now and then. The number of the causes, you'd also understand that with the rains also come situations where ability to discharge petroleum products is challenged.
The Executive Vice President attributes the current situation to weather conditions as well as the challenges of evacuation with road networks disturbed by the rains. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has declared a net profit of 3.2 trillion naira in its 2023 audited accounts. Reeling out the financial highlights tagged Defying Gravity, Chief Financial Officer, NNPC Limited, Umar Ajia, said the company's long-term survival is assured despite misconceptions. Lydia Sampson reports.
With a total asset of over 246 billion naira, a cash and cash equivalent of over 7 billion naira, an interim dividend paid to the tune of over 536 billion naira, plus the final dividends of over 2.1 trillion naira, a net profit margin of 14%, and the operating profit margin of 18%. The Chief Financial Officer says the positive trajectory of the company is in line with the transparency, accountability, performance, excellence agenda of the company.
By 2020, we had produced the first profit ever for this company, which is 287 billion naira. The following year, in 2021, the company's profit grew to 674 billion naira. By the third year, in 2022, the profit jumped to 2.5 trillion naira. Now, in 2023, the profit has also grown by 28%, from 3.5 trillion to 3.297 trillion.
We held our AGM on the 16th of August 2024 and considered the 2023 audited financial statements of the group, which revealed an excellent performance.
Various questions on production costs, meeting OPEC quota, as well as update on Potaka refinery, got answers from the relevant executive vice presidents.
There's a slight shortfall from OPEC quota of 51,000 barrels.
It's about to start producing PMS now. As the crude distillation unit, which is the primary producing unit, is currently working.
On the issue of subsidy, the company says in the last 8 to 9 years, it has not paid subsidy to any marketer. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
The Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit is re-strategizing on how best to enhance the nation's financial intelligence framework. The agency made this known at its management retreat, saying it is addressing emerging threats in financial crimes with renewed commitment to bolstering Nigeria's fight against money laundering and terrorism financing. Musa Abubakar reports.
This is the first management retreat by the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, NFIU. These retreats focus on strategic planning, capacity building, and aligning the unit's activities with national and global financial intelligence standards.
We developed and implemented a robust and innovative organizational structure which aligns our capacities and resources to the sectors of the economy that are most vulnerable to abuse by money launderers and terrorist financiers.
The gathering serves as a platform for management to review the unit's performance, identify challenges, and formulate strategies to improve the fight against financial crimes.
Our ability as members of the criminal justice system to combat these illicit activities requires access to timely, reliable, and actionable financial intelligence.
We received from the NFIU 76 intelligence reports leading to the discovery of several hidden assets.
Our credit rating should improve better. We have taken measures to repress and punish wrongdoing to enhance the integrity and soundness of our financial system.
This is believed to be crucial for maintaining the NFIU's role in safeguarding Nigeria's financial system from abuse. In Abuja, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
And live in our Abuja studios, Musa Abubakar with more on the business circle. Musa?
Thank you, Naja. Towards ensuring the speedy realization of the presidential directive on crude oil sales in Naira, the Committee on Crude Oil Sales in Naira has reviewed progress on key initiatives, including the upcoming commencement of Naira payments for crude oil sales to the Dangote refinery, starting from October 1st, 2024, marking a significant milestone in Nigeria's economic transformation. Dr. Zaka Dideji, Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service and Chairman of the Technical Subcommittee, reported that the first PMS delivery from Dangote is expected next month under existing agreements. And to the capital market, the equities market and the first weekday of trade on bearish note. The all-share index shed 1.36% to close at 95,779.79 points. At the end of the first weekday of trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a total of 405 million shares in 9,291 deals valued at 7.6 billion naira were traded. Today's data shows 16% improvement in volume, 2% improvement in turnover, and 21% improvement in deals. The current market capitalization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange is 54.4 trillion naira. Guarantee Trust Holding record the highest volume of 59.3 million traded shares, followed by Wema Bank, ECS Holdings, and United Bank for Africa. Well, that's business news. Najaz, back to you.
Thank you, Musa. And still to come, more than 5,000 farmers in Yobe State receive farm input for optimal yield and food security. National Information Technology Development Agency, NITSDA, upscales processes for improved literacy, digital literacy in the country. Details and more after some messages. Stay tuned. It's nice to know you're still watching the network news on NTA. We begin this segment with appointments. President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of Professor Abdullahi Saleh Usman as the Executive Chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON. Professor Usman is a renowned scholar with qualifications from 2 Islamic centers of excellence, the University of Medina and Peshawar University, Pakistan. The professor is also well-grounded in Hajj operations, having served as the chairman of Kano State Pilgrims Board, successfully superintending the operations of the largest quota of state pilgrims in the country. The appointment is subject to confirmation by the Senate. The president, however, expects the new chairman of NACON to discharge his duties with integrity, transparency, and utmost fidelity to the nation. President Bola Tinubu has also approved the appointment of a new management team for the Niger Delta Power Holding Company. The new members include Jennifer Adigiji, Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer, Abdullahi Kasim, Executive Director, Generation, Bello Babayo Bello, Executive Director, Network, Emmanuel Umeoji, Executive Director, Corporate Services, Omololu Agoro, Executive Director, Finance and Accounts, Omoegi Ubedi Hama, Executive Director, Strategy and Commercials, Stephen Anzengi, Executive Director, Legal Services. The new Chief Executive Officer, Jennifer Adigiji, is an experienced engineer with vast competence across management functions in the private and public sectors. She holds a master's degree in wireless networks and telecommunications from Queen Mary University of London, UK, and a bachelor's degree in electrical electronics engineering from the University of Lagos, Nigeria. The president expects the new members of the management of the company to deploy their expertise and experience to drive the company's mandate of effectively managing the National Integrated Power Project, NIPP. Challenges impeding optimal performance of Kaduna Inland Dry Port will be addressed soon to accelerate implementation of the country's economic diversification policy. Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council, Pius Akuta, stated this during a visit to the port. Adamu Sunday reports.
The Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council is on a one-day walking visit to Kaduna to interact, rub minds, and listen to the plights of management of the Kaduna Inland Dry Port, as well as addressing them to ensure optimal performance that will fast-track trading and reduce costs of doing business.
We are ready to work. We will continue to support you.
In the interest of Nigeria, the Executive Secretary says he will ensure the Inland Dry Port functions as an inland dry port for the purpose of trade facilitation in the country.
Our ultimate goal is to see that these infrastructures are working for the benefit of Nigerians. With the support that we are getting from Nigerian Shippers Council and from this visit and the conversations that have been had, it is without a doubt that there is a whole lot of good things to come. The major issue that I can take away from here is that the port is not operating optimally due to some little challenges that we need to fix them.
He reaffirmed his determination to look into why the Kaduna Inland Dry Port is still operating as a bonded terminal and provide solutions to it.
We have a duty to go back now and ensure that that bill that is pending before the National Assembly is passed in record time, and also to engage other critical stakeholders like the regulatory bodies in the sector, the Nigerian Customs, and all the other ones to see how they can continue to give the maximum support to this inland dry port so that it will achieve the purpose for which it was set up.
The Executive Secretary promised to engage the Kaduna State Government to ensure speedy completion of all access routes leading to the dry port. Earlier in interaction with the Council staff and the Kaduna State Shippers Association, the Executive Secretary says the Council has saved Nigeria from spending billions of naira by performing its statutory roles and functions. In Kaduna, Adamu Sunday, NTA News.
And from Kaduna, we head to Yola. Today is Humanitarian Day with a call for nations to redouble efforts to care for victims of conflict and natural disasters as the number of refugees and IDPs is rising. A set of recommendations is now in place to better the living conditions of these individuals as the world marks Humanitarian Day. Ruth Aguele reports.
Aid workers have continued to demonstrate resilience to restore humanity in a world where conflicts continue to tear nations and livelihoods apart. In Nigeria, Adamawa State is one of the affected states that has faced humanitarian crisis and tagged among the Bay states, including Borno, Adamawa and Yobe. In commemoration of the World Humanitarian Day, this symposium, organized by the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, in partnership with the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation with Adamawa State Government, is to harness collective efforts by stakeholders, share experiences and examine diverse needs of vulnerable population in the areas of access to health care, education and livelihood support.
As we mark the World Humanitarian Day today, whose theme is to act for humanity, that we will all stand in solidarity with the little children whose lives are on the line.
It is imperative that we advocate for peace-building efforts and social cohesion initiatives aimed at addressing root causes of conflict and violence.
We would continue to provide the enabling environment for humanitarian workers so that they can continue to act for humanity.
As the stakeholders deliberate on issues, the target is to put action on humanity that will propel an action plan towards proffering durable solutions for the affected population, restore hope, and build resilient path to reduce vulnerability in the state where no one is left behind. From Yola, Ruth Aguele, NTA News.
And speaking of restoring hope, the federal government has directed the immediate reconstruction of Wagga Bridge in Madagali local government area, which links Adamawa and Borno states. The managing director, Northeast Development Commission, Muhammad Goni Al-Ali, made this known during an on-the-spot visit to the collapsed bridge. Yusuf Jika reports.
Wagga Bridge in Madagali local government area of Adamawa State is said to be critical in the movement of goods and services that promotes socio-economic growth of various communities in Adamawa and Borno states, as well as neighboring Cameroon Republic. The bridge, which cut off recently as a result of heavy downpour, has exposed the people of the immediate communities to untold hardship because of the destruction of farmlands, lack of access roads that will convey goods and services, in addition to posing security threats in the area. People also took advantage of the situation to exploit commuters, as crossing of a bag of grains cost 1,500 naira, while a bag of cement goes for 200 naira, forcing the prices of food items and other commodities to further skyrocket.
Seriously, people are suffering. We are pleading. Government should come to our aid and give us a help.
The Managing Director, Northeast Development Commission, Mohammed Goni Al-Kali, who expressed concern on the level of damage of the bridge, said the intervention of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ensure immediate reconstruction of the bridge is to ameliorate the sufferings of the people as well as restore their livelihood.
With this kind of situation, you can't do anything immediately. Probably you can find some temporary circle to do. But I'm saying that the President, Commander and Chief of President of Nigeria has approved that this bridge will start immediately.
Similarly, the Managing Director of NEDC said the Commission will also reconstruct the two bridges in Woto, Mitka local government area, as a measure to avert the collapse of the bridges because of their impact on the socio-economic well-being of the people in the area. In Yola, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
In a similar but separate development, there has been anxiety and uncertainty among farmers concerning the rainy season. While some are complaining about the sudden cessation of rain, others are facing heavy rain and floods destroying their farmland. Musa Baba Aliyu takes a look at this year's rain pattern in the northern part of the country and its effects on agriculture.
The 2024 rainy season commenced a little late this year, as earlier predicted by meteorologists. The season began in March in the southern parts of the country and in May in the northern region. Farmers took advantage of the weather and planted early as advised. While the farmers were enjoying the weather, hoping to have a good yield at the end of the season, suddenly the rain ceased in some states in the north-central, northeast, part of northwest and southwest. The development has created anxiety and state of confusion among farming communities in the affected states. However, The Nigerian Meteorological Agency said what is being experienced is not drought, but a dry spell. The dry spell is expected to last for at least 2 to 4 weeks. In Bidda, Niger State, North Central, Muslims led by the Etsunupe seek God's intervention to send down the rain.
May Allah accept our prayers and grant us the rain that will make us achieve our good security, and also pray much Allah to guide our leaders right.
This is coming as other parts of the country are experiencing flooding as a result of heavy rainfall in the month of August. The National Emergency Management Agency said 27 states have been impacted by the flood. It said 227,494 persons have been affected and 32,837 houses damaged, as well as 16,488 hectares of farmlands with crops are also damaged. The end of the season is expected to begin on October 6. It is also anticipated to end around the south-south in the month of December. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Thank you, Musa. Well, on the upside, the Governor Mai Mala Buni-led administration in Yobe State has empowered 5,340 farmers across the state's 17 local government areas with essential farm input and implements. The intervention aims to enhance agricultural production and promote sustainable farming. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
This is Abubakar Haruna, a 60-year-old farmer from Lamis Ward in Machina local government area. He is a seasoned farmer with over 40 years of farming experience. As one of the 5,340 targeted beneficiaries of the Yobe State Mega Agricultural Empowerment Program, Abubakar has received vital farm inputs and implements to enhance crop production in his community. I am overjoyed to receive this kind of support for the first time in my life. Here is also a 25-year-old mother of three from Bogowad in Machina local government area, Amina Hussaini, one of the 1,780 women empowered with 3 small ruminant animals to boost livestock production in the state. This initiative aims to increase crop yields, improve livestock production, and support local farmers like Abubakar and Amina in the quest to build a more sustainable future.
Our expectation to those women that got the animals is to go back home with them, rear them. By next year, I'm sure these animals will multiply.
So what I expect from farmers is bumper harvest. And I assure His Excellency, Machina local government farmers will never sell this material. I will personally supervise them.
All eyes are now on the farmers to see whether or not they will effectively utilize the equipment and livestock to realize the vision of the state government for enhanced food and livestock production. In the Matru, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
Well, it's time to join Hingino in Lagos for more reports. Hingino.
Nigeria's economic blueprint, which is geared towards upscaling infrastructure in critical sectors of the economy while creating jobs, is achievable with effective tax administration that will block revenue leakage. Joel Pupola in this report examines how stakeholders in tax administration are changing this narrative through collaboration to meet and surpass revenue targets.
Addressing infrastructural gaps, especially in the area of power generation, road network and other critical projects that will create jobs and attract foreign direct investment into the country, are feasible with the contribution of all citizens through payment of taxes. Nigeria, according to statistics, has a population of more than 200 million people, but barely 15% are in the tax net. This engagement between the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the National Assembly Committee on Finance is not just to ensure the projection of 14.94 trillion naira target is met, but also brainstorm on how to bring in more Nigerians into the tax net while developing templates for effective tax administration in tandem with best practice. This, the executive chairman, FIRS, Zach Adedeji, says will also improve voluntary compliance to tax payments.
Target of 19.4 trillion that you gave to us at the beginning of the year, as at today, by God's grace, we are on the path to make sure that that target is achieved. The kind of innovation that both houses that you brought has really helped the federal government. So on behalf of federal government, I appreciate you.
Chairman Senate Committee on Finance, Senator Mohammed Sani Musa, assures that the Senate will provide the legislative framework to improve tax administration and ensure transparency.
Looking at innovations, you can see cryptocurrency today has become one of the largest ways of making money. And in Nigeria, we don't have any law to guide that. So with what FIRS is doing and the legislators, we are synergizing to make sure that we come out with a legislation that will give Nigeria the best in getting much revenue.
Stakeholders here are hopeful that Nigeria tax to GDP rate will also increase with all hands on deck. In Lagos, Joel Okwola, NTA News.
The non-availability of cash at the automated teller machines ATMs have raised concerns among numerous bank customers who say they solely depend on POS to obtain cash to carry out their daily task. Amaka Owo, who observed the situation across the metropolis, reports.
As at March 2024, figures from the Nigeria Interbank Settlement System shows that over 3 million point-of-sale POS machines have been registered across the country. The predominance of point-of-sale POS machines, many say, makes cash available and accessible to numerous bank customers, but not without additional charges.
This one now is even much better than salary work because nowadays they don't pay much. So I think POS is much better.
While some bank customers are still able to obtain cash from some ATM machines, there are those who allege conspiracy between some bank staff and POS operators.
POS operators, they take more money from us, so bank is better.
If I go to my bank, I find it difficult to collect. Higher, they will say they will give me 20,000, 30,000. But if I come out, if I go to my area, I will collect like 100,000.
When you get to the ATM, there always money there. But if you didn't go in time, those ATM, those POS, will now go and withdraw the whole money and start selling to Nigerians.
And there are limited sum of notes that banks, stock in the ATM.
Many bank customers are, however, urging authorities of banks to ensure availability of cash at ATM machines on a regular basis to reduce the manner at which customers buy their own money to service their needs. In Lagos, Amaka Owo, NTA News.
And those are the reports from Lagos Network Center. The network news will continue after this break.
You're just in time for tech news, and the national, always on a quest to transform Nigeria's digital landscape, the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, has taken another leap in this direction. Chimdima Undubisi tells us how.
Digital literacy is considered a key factor in Nigeria's drive for digital transformation, and the agency saddled with the responsibility of developing knowledge on information technology among the citizenry is NITDA. It also plays regulatory and advisory roles on information technology usage for both public and private sectors. Despite good ratings over the years, the organization is continuously working to improve its systems and processes. It has therefore opened up itself for another level of performance rating by bringing into effect the 5th Service Charter with Servicom.
The Service Charter is a tool, is a document that contains the mandate of NITDA broken down into measurable standards. And Nigerians who take service from NITDA can begin to actually report on their real service experiences as against these set standards and these promises.
Now we have 21 days to clear your IT project. We have
3 days to ensure that if you come to register as an indigenous IT company, you get your registration. So those are the kind of compacts we included in this new edition.
The performance enhancement tool will be used by Servicom to assess the organization quarterly so as to ensure promises of satisfactory service delivery, accountability and transparency are kept. In Abuja, Chimdemma Ndubisi, NTA News.
Away from tech matters, the Supreme Court has reserved judgment in the appeals emanating from the conduct of the Bayelsa and Kogi State governorship elections. Omenka Amarachukwu reports.
In the appeal from Bayelsa State, the appellant, Timipre Silva, and the APC pleaded with the court to set aside the judgments of the Bayelsa State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal and the Court of Appeal, which had earlier dismissed their petition. The respondents in the matter, Dointuri, asked the court to dismiss the appeal brought against his election by the governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress APC in the Bayelsa governorship pool. In another development, the Apex Court has equally reserved judgment in the appeal filed against the tribunal and the appeal court judgments by the candidate of the Social Democratic Party in the Kogi governorship election, Motala Ajaka, to a date that will be communicated to the parties. The Apex Court also declined a request by Ajaka's counsel for the constitution of a full panel to hear and determine his appeal. The two appeals have been heard and to be determined at a later date. In Abuja, Omenka Amarachukwu, NTA News.
Thank you, Omenka. Do stay tuned for more reports after this time out.
With gratitude to God for a life well lived, the family of Pa Eti Koya of Idode Lugu and late Chief SD Olubanjo of Igede Alaro, Ijebu Northeast Local Government Area of Ogun State announced the funeral of late Madam Felicia Omorinsola, who died on the 10th of July 2024. Aged 100 years, Madam Felicia Omorinsola is survived by children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, including Mrs. Oluwakemi Ogunmakinwa, who is a Deputy Director of Information, Ministry of Petroleum Resources. The funeral arrangement as announced by the family. Friday, 23rd August 2024, Christian wake keep at her residence, Oke Ife Quarters, Idode, Ijebu Northeast Local Government Area, Ogun State, by 5 p.m. Saturday, 24th August 2024, funeral and Thanksgiving service at St. John's Anglican Church, Idode Lugun, Ijebu Northeast Local Government Area by 10 a.m. Interment follows at the church cemetery. Announcer Mrs. Oluwakemi Ogunmakinwa for the family.
Effective service delivery. Quick intervention for progress and development in all sectors remain a recurring desire of Nigerians. To bridge these gaps and accelerate improvement in the people's living conditions, President Bola Tinubu hits the ground running, signing performance bonds with the administration's foot soldiers. Reshaping Democracy debuts on the NTA, putting the 8 presidential priority areas and the implementers on a scale, holding MDAs accountable. Keep a date with the NTA every Tuesday at 10:05 p.m. as we assess government's performance and reshape the nation's democracy.
You're just in time for live sports action with Ayo Deji Makinde, who earlier told us about the National Youth Games. Ayo. Thank you very much, Ayo Deji Makinde. The All Progressives Congress, APC, has expressed shock over the passing of Oyo State Chapter Chairman of the APC, Isaac Ajiboye Omodiwu. In a statement signed by National Publicity Secretary Felix Morka, the party says it has lost a dedicated leader who worked tirelessly for the growth and success of the APC in Oyo State, the Southwest region, and the entire country. The party prays God Almighty to comfort members, the immediate family, Oyo State, and the nation over the colossal loss, and for the repose of his gentle soul, noting that his worthy contributions and statesmanship will be greatly missed. Omodiwu was an accomplished politician, cerebral lawyer, and seasoned administrator who served meritoriously as Commissioner for Local Government Government and Chieftaincy Affairs and later as Commissioner for Lands and Housing in the administration of late Governor Abiola Ajimobi of Oyo State. That concludes the network news tonight, but before we go, here is a recap. President Bola Tinubu wants leaders in ECOWAS member countries to ratify and fully implement the ECOWAS Protocol against corruption. The Nigerian Intelligence Unit re-echoes commitment to fighting against money laundering and terrorism financing as NNPC Limited apologizes to Nigerians over tightness in petrol supply. And that's the network news on behalf of the crew. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Najat Tijani.